Welcome back to Say No More Media. In today's video, we're finna cover former Colorado. He had 6 carries for 24 yards and a touchdown, and 5 receptions for 135 yards and 3 touchdowns, totaling 4 touchdowns against TCU in his freshman debut. Now, Dylan Edwards is 5'9", 167 pounds from Derby, Kansas, where he attended Derby High School. He also played youth football for Coach Prime. He was the number 2 ranked running back in Kansas and also the number 12 ranked running back in the nation. In 2021, he was the Gatorade Player of the Year for the state of Kansas, where he played 4 years varsity for Derby High School, where he recorded 6,426 yards rushing and 95 touchdowns on 622 carries, and that was over 4 seasons. Now, he was highly recruited out of high school with Kansas State, one of the front runners to land Dylan Edwards, but he ultimately decided to sign with Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes due to him playing youth football with Coach Prime growing up. He had a relationship with the Sanders family. Now, in 2023, as a true freshman, he had 321 yards rushing, a touchdown, 14.2 yards per rush, 36 receptions, 299 yards, and 4 touchdowns at 8.3 yards per catch. And this is behind possibly the worst offensive line in college football. As we know, they inherited a bad offensive line. So those stats aren't really indicative of what he could have did with a very productive offensive line. No shade to the offensive line, but hey, it is what it is. They weren't getting the job done that year, but he was still able to put up production. And I really feel like he was what Colorado was missing. Now, during his sophomore year, he did decide to hit the transfer portal. And I was sitting back thinking, what if we had this production at running back? You know, somebody like Dylan Edwards, you can give a quick swing pass to out of the backfield. You don't really require too much offensive line for that. As you can see, you just require him to operate in space, be able to make the first person miss, and your wide receivers block downfield. So I really feel like, what if Colorado would have been able to keep Dylan Edwards this year? I really think with the chemistry with the offensive line, he really could have been the scat speed running back that we needed to change the pace of the game and, you know, really be a security blanket for Shedeur Sanders out of the backfield like he was able to do at Kansas State. He was really able to change the pace of the game. And as you can see, he had straight line speed. You were just somebody you can able to get the ball to in space. So I know that's a what if, but you know, Dylan Edwards should be eligible for the NFL draft in 2026. Definitely expecting big things from him in next season at Kansas State. Too bad we got to play this dude for another